So Keep the Fire Burning, I actually wrote on tour just before we went into the studio. And it was a long tour. We were on the road for 2 months around the UK and Ireland. And it was the first tour out of lockdown. So everyone was very excited, but we had a lot of making up to do. So the tour was long and it was a very brutal schedule. I had so much fun. I absolutely loved every moment of it. It was the first time I'd been away for like a long period on tour away from my son. And this is probably about halfway through the tour. I was really starting to miss him. And, he was so young. And I was kind of getting fearful that he might not forget me, but obviously you're not, I'd FaceTime him at the time he was 2. So you'd be like, like not really understand what's going on, which is obviously fair enough. But I do remember very vividly writing this song, and I was in Aberdeen and I was sitting in the lounge on the tour bus. The whole song is about leaving for tour, working hard, but looking forward to coming back and seeing him. So, and it's great actually, because when we got the first mix of this, I had it on a CD so I could listen to it in the car, and he'd be like behind me in his car seat and he'd just be like, play the tour song, which is really cool.
That's really cool.
But yeah, it's cool. Even like the lyrics are literally about that first day leaving for tour. It's like wheels are turning on wet tarmac. It's off to work we go. And that was about loading the trailer up at Wembley, getting on the bus and being like, we're back to it after 2 years off, and that's what the whole song's about.
See, I didn't actually know that.
Oh, did you not?
No.
I forget what I tell you sometimes.
This song has it's kind of like, I guess, similar to other songs, but this one is kind of more old sounding, So what I like with what you do with the lyrics is like you could put yourself, it could be like a worker in America or something.
That was kept in mind. I wanted to, it was just kind of about, I guess like, in a way it was for dads.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just going out and working away and working hard for your family. And that's why it's, keep the fire burning for when I come back home.
Yeah. And I love, well, this is why I think it has more of a timeless feel than, some of your other stuff is, you're writing about a real thing there, but you've left it just open enough. I mean, you've actually been quite specific, but
when the fact you didn't know what it was about is great.
Yeah, because, and I love that. Like, I can basically imagine any workman going to work can relate to this song.
Yeah.
Any truck driver, lumberjack, like someone that goes away for a little bit and work, they can put themselves in the shoes. I think that's what you've done really well on this album, is like you've somehow managed to like communicate very specific things, but in a way which, from an angle which everyone can understand. And I think that's really quite, again, that's the strength of your lyrics that have been able to do that. I think that's amazing. Like this song is, I mean, it sounds quite lighthearted as well, even though it's not.
It's kind of I guess it's a bit of a mix.
Yeah.
I guess it's the, I was so happy to be back out on tour, and the tour was killer. Like it was I would have gone again in a heartbeat, but people don't think about, like, it is work and you are working away, and especially on that tour I was just supporting, so I was only on stage for half an hour. You're away for 2 months and you're like, I've literally got that 30 minutes on stage, and the rest of it you're away. It's really hard being away from kids. Everyone feels that, because you miss birthdays and you miss events and you can't not, because you're away, like you go away to work, and then you come back for like long periods, which is good. So it's a bit of a bittersweet thing, really. But I'm glad that it can relate, other people will be able to relate to it, that it's, doing a sensible, normal job and not just touring. And there's only kind of a few little things in there that suggests it's about touring, like waiting for the lights on me, and like all this time I thought I'd missed a beat because it was kind of like, oh, we're going back out on tour, this is great. And then, you know, I was getting on the bus and saying, I hope I remember how to like pull off a show. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So,
but you can still interpret those differently
course,
as well,
yeah,
which is great. I think ultimately this song has, you know, it has a very uplifting feel. Maybe the most uplifting on the album, probably.
Probably, yeah. There's also probably one of my favorite lyrics on the album that was like, neighbor to my heart, you know where it belongs.
Yeah,
It's like, I'll work these lungs, neighbor to my heart.
Yeah.
About, you know, it's got like the singing thing in there, but it could be about just, you know, being exhausted.
Yeah.
But however exhausted you are, you know that you've got them like in the back of your mind that, you know, you'll be back soon and it'll be all right. And that was a line that I loved, but it did make me sad at the time writing it because I was just scribbling on a bit of paper out on the bus. And also being in Aberdeen, as great as the show was, and I've been up there a bunch of times and it's always really good, but that was the most far away I was on the whole tour. And it was, I was like,
There's something about that, isn't there?
I can't really be any further away from my little boy, and that sucks, you know, right now, and I'm not going to see him for ages. So, yeah, but then, you know, you come back and you make up for lost time, and you know, it was it was great. And obviously we had Hickey playing the banjo on there, which was good fun. It's kind of quite subtle in the mix, but that, along with the way that the drums are played with like the brushes, has a bit of a country feel to it as well.
It definitely does. It's
a bit of a road trippy vibe as well. It's great. And I think actually this is one of the first ones we listened back to, and I was like, this is sounding very, very cool. You know?
I think you know, similarly to the other songs, it's just always finding that thread which made the song its own thing amongst the others. So like they all kind of had that one thing, and the banjo was it for this, and the, you know, the beat like that.
Oh, actually, I think we did the stomps just not even a bass drum. It was just a foot on the floor, wasn't it? Just like a shoe on the carpet. Yeah. So it's kind of quite DIY,
well, we try,
busking.
You know, I guess that is probably my style of production when I can pull from those things, because I was getting visions of Workman. It just made sense, you know, like Workman with boots on, like, not to go too musical, but like it's fun doing that stuff because you can't do that in every song. So when you get the opportunity to,